Mr. Brooks is a serial entrepreneur. He's able to be a founder of one of the fastest real estate companies in the world right now. They've been able to accomplish great things. On the side from that, he's definitely a great father as well. Whatnot, just coming from a game before he got here to be able to be with us for this time slot. So he knows how to, do certain things, but it wasn't always that way for Mr. Brooks. Had some humble beginnings, but he was able to transition, whether it was him, going into sports, seeing that as an outlet. Also, the skill set he learned there, he took that and went into being an entrepreneur. And as well, just being a realtor at first and learning the tricks and trades of how to be a realtor, improving himself, continuing to learn on a daily basis. And so it brings us up to this moment right now where we're learning from a serial entrepreneur, whether it's him with his tax services that he has, with his in properties and investments that he's doing as well. Also, we're using things like Shopify, things like that, where he has clothing that you're able to participate in, or helping you out with, if you got goals at the beginning of your year and you need to write down your goals. He has little things like that you can jot down in your journal, your goals, to help you move further. And also being able to join and connect with me on a national tour that we did, where he's doing keynote speeches as well. So it's so many things that, Mr. Brooks is doing. But on this segment, we want to talk about the serial entrepreneur and why it would benefit. So why would a gentleman like Mr. Brooks, why would he want to do a book? How would that help him out? If he's already having success in certain areas, what would the book afford him that he doesn't already have? So that's what we're going to discuss in this particular segment here with Mr. Brooks. But welcome, man, Mr. Brooks. I appreciate you coming to the mastermind, man.
No doubt. Hey, man, I appreciate that warm welcome you just gave me, Dan.
Oh, man, you know I got to do. Sam, Steve Harvey gonna have to watch out, man, because I can bring you out, man. I can bring you out.
You filled in a lot of the good blanks in there, man. No, you filled in a lot of the good blanks.
Man, that's great.
I didn't do a lot of those things. You're right.
That's it. That's awesome. And Mr. Brooks, if you don't mind, just share with the people. Because you're a two-time author now when it just comes to your book. So let's just go back to the first book. Let's just go back a little back and rewind. Could you share with us your mindset when you were first doing the book? Like, you really didn't know what it was going to do and how it would benefit you. And then just share with us some of the benefits of, like, when you got that epiphany, like, this book thing is kind of all right. Like, could you just share that with us so I can get a mindset of that?
Yeah, Dan, when I think about it, doing that first book was pretty amazing, because it's kind of like you said, I was already in my lane, my space of real estate, very successful. Me and Mike were doing a lot with the company and growing the company. And so at the time, I was thinking, book, I don't have the time. And that was the first concept. I don't have the time. And then having an opportunity actually doing it. And the epiphany was this. I didn't realize that my business could explode any more than what it already was. After publishing the book and promoting up into even the promotion process of the book, not only did I see the revenue of my company almost double, but even our regular productivity, the new agent count started growing because of it. So, that whole author book thing, I would hear people say something about being an author and how they could take your business to the next level. But being one that has experienced it, it was pretty amazing. And so, like you said, that's kind of how book number 2 jumped out there, because going into the series of number 1 was pretty amazing for me. So it was good. It did real well for me.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brooks, for sharing for that. And I remember when you was first doing it, and I just want to put this note out there that I think it was like in the first 2 weeks, it was like 5 deals showed up on the board.
Yeah.
Just because you had the book, because see, and I want to dive deeper for those who listen. Like, you might be asking yourself, like, oh, okay, Darren, what does that have to do with anything? 5 books popping up. The reason why is because, now, remind you now, he's known as the Texas real estate king.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Darren, it has to be a book about real estate. It wasn't a book about real estate.
It was not.
The book was a quote book.
Yeah.
It was a quote book. And the thing about it was, it's TOMA, it's top of mind awareness. Mr. Brooks had awareness because guess what? People have done business with him before. People who were receiving his newsletters. Now it's triggering because people have busy lives. So now it's coming from a different perspective from what they would know him of. Okay, yeah, it's cool to have the magnets. Yeah, it's cool to have the business cards at the networking event. But when people are seeing you publicize at your book launch, or they're seeing that, wow, this guy is an author, or wow, his face is on this book, whatnot. So you know what? Let me talk to my girl Teresa, because she was looking for a book, and I've been caught up at work so much, I had forgot about that. You know, you need to call Larry, girl, and he got a book too as well. See, that is the conversation. It's about creating conversation, creating a buzz. And so many of us get caught up on, and I'm not knocking this because we won't continue education, but are you doing just the 1, 2, 3? Are you going to the same meetings? What are you going to do to separate yourself from others in the marketplace? Because if we're all going to the same meetings, if we're all getting the same information from the same workshop, and we're regurgitating that into the marketplace, what is going to make me unique? What is going to allow for me to be that unicorn in the marketplace so I can see my sales and my life transition to another level? So Mr. Brooks was able to do that, you know, brilliantly by doing that. And so, you know, I want you to share as well, Mr. Brooks, about the importance of not getting boxed in as well. Because you could have just stood there and said, you know what, you know, I'm the Texas real estate king. So why would I start learning? Why would I do a tax company? Why would I, okay, the tax company is working. So why would I go ahead and do multiple books? Or why would I start working on my speaking game? So could you share with us, you know, your reason to continue to scale?
Yeah, you know, the biggest thing, Darren, is as we watch what the government is going through right now with the shutdowns, for example, right? And so speaking to that is now you have people that wish they had a diversified income so that they could still be able to pay their bills and not worry as much. But with that being said, what I found is as I started to scale, as the real estate company became successful, I got into the tax industry because I had, you know, one thing that's not going to happen, money is not going to make money while sitting inside the bank not doing anything. So if you have an opportunity, you're presented with something and you're ready, and that's how I branched into the tax business. I saw an opportunity, was able to get into it. We built a good business model off of that. We took that, sold that, and then I started getting information from influencers as I became more active on social media, promoting the books. I had influencers reaching out to me, asking me about wearing their clothes, wearing their products. And I'm like, well, I got to brand myself, right? And so why not take the brand that I already have? And if you think I'm going to look good in your clothes, I'm going to put my own thing together and I'm going to brand myself. So that's kind of where Shop LWB came from, that particular angle. And then leading into that, as I did more speaking engagements with Greatness Awake, I had more people coming at me and saying, well, hey, you know, we would like to get more information with you on a more consistent basis. You should start a podcast. And so one of my agents, one of my top producers was like, hey, here's a great concept. We should do this together. And so now a podcast got branched outside of that as well, which is allowing more sponsorships that are bringing more dollars in. That's going to allow me to help feed into the nonprofit that I decided to create as well, right? So all these series of entrepreneur journeys and a series of businesses that I've decided to get into was to continue to scale, continue to do it for what we say nowadays, your last name, right? So, and that's really been my concept with building those businesses and going in that direction.
Man, that's awesome. That's great. Hey, man, I don't know if y'all getting this or not, but this is some grade A information that you're getting here. I just want to make sure I open up to the chat, make sure nobody hasn't. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Miss Prophet Shaw said, I follow you on my Yahoo email. No. So she's talking about she's following you. So that's great. Getting great information. Definitely Miss Shaw on that right there. And you know what? You brought up that great point, even with the government shutdown. And I like to say, especially with, you know, the playoffs, stuff like that going on with sports, being, you know, proactive, being on offense instead of defense. So many of us fall into fear, or what we do is acquiesce to what is the known. I'm known for being an educator, or I'm only known for those who are the professionals or whatnot, those who are educated or whatnot with degrees. Well, this is what I got my degree in. So we've allowed ourselves to be limited to, you're shackled to something that was supposed to free you.
That's right.
You were supposed to have freedom by having a better quality life, by getting that education or getting that trade or going into whatever profession that you're in. But instead of adding on to, you have stopped and just said, hey, this is just what life is. So I think what your life represents, Mr. Brooks, and why it's more of like a maverick lifestyle, while the same thing what we have with Richard Branson, the same thing what we like about a Mark Cuban, or even what we like for us, Steve Harvey as well, of showing us that, hey, I don't have to be limited. Even a Tyler Perry, even, because I have a studio doesn't mean that I can't do sitcoms, doesn't mean that I can do my own movies. But by the way, I'm not going to limit myself to my own stuff. Yeah. I'm going to participate and go and audition for roles for other people's movies as well. Yeah. And so when I'm seeing that model, that's what we got to understand. Don't limit yourself to just one thing. Yeah. And it's
the vehicle. The things that you do are vehicles to get you to the next. See, for me, I've always desired time freedom. I've always desired an opportunity to put my calendar together the way that I choose for it to look, my day to look the way that I choose for it to look. And so real estate real estate was the very first vehicle to get me to being able to diversify, right? And so even moving forward with the diversification of the other businesses, they're just stepping stones for me to get more time freedom. Or as my 12-year-old son starts to age and I want to participate on going out of town to his AAU games, I want to be able to make that decision and go, right? And so even if it's me taking off days, if it's me wanting to be able to go during the week, these are the things that, as you diversify and you get into more of a serial entrepreneur or starting more businesses, the flexibility that it allows you to do. So those are the things that you want to do when you're doing that lane. So that's really the big thing that stands out to me about it.
Freedom. Let freedom ring. That's what we're talking about. Let freedom ring. And so that's the thing. So you're not so caught up in one area, and those same skills can allow for you to be able to get a team together and move forward. And, and so we hear about your walk, but share with us too about team building, because yes, we see you, we follow you on social media. We see the amazing things that you're able to contribute, but with Brooks and Davis real estate firm, you have a team. Yeah. With tax, before you sold the tax, you created a team. When I look at you, far as when you did speaking or whatnot, you got a team together or whatnot. When I look at you, far as the stuff you're doing online, you have a team. So share with those who are entrepreneurs, they're looking at your success. So I don't want to leave out the sauce of what's the secret ingredients by having a team. And so many of us who quote unquote call ourselves solopreneurs or whatnot, we're seeing the success like individuals like yourself is having, but we don't realize too, there's a team behind Larry Devil as well.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's a team. So could you share with us the importance of team building?
My man, it's endless words, right? Because you really can't scale till you have a team in place in order to do it. I wasn't able to leave and diversify and get into the tax game and get into the clothing game before I was able to scale and build a team with Brooks and Davis. So once we got a team together that were in the office, I've given them my heart and my soul, my vision, and they accepted it, and they helped me grow with that, right? And then going into the tax industry was the exact same way. When I got ready to do the books, I'm not the guy, right? So when I got ready and I reached out to Self-Publishing 30 Days, you and your team, Darren, you guys helped me get my content together. Y'all gave me the blueprint, right? And that's what I needed. Just like in everybody else's business, you find a way to get to the blueprint, allow their team in the background allowed to help you execute it. So for me, teamwork has always allowed me to scale these businesses. So you can't. One secret is I've always enjoyed going out, networking, and meeting like-minded people. Those are the type of people, because everybody doesn't want to be in front of the camera, right? I'm okay with that. But a lot of people don't want to be in front of the camera. They don't want to be the face of something. They just want to be in the background, helping you be successful. And for them, they still find that same time freedom. They still find some of those same finances that you will be able to find. So, again, team is everything. No team, what's the old saying? Teamwork make the dream work.
Teamwork make the dream work, man.
Teamwork makes the dream work. So,
Awesome. So thank you, Mr. Brooks. Make sure that you understand the team. You can't play small. You got to realize you need to focus on what you do great. So, and me and Mr. Brooks like to say, we built for this. And so you might say, what are you built for? So for one thing, it might be, hey, getting up early, pouring into yourself. Yeah. So I don't want to get that. So with him saying giving all to him, but he still knows the importance of self-care. So he has to make sure that he's pouring into himself. If you tune into him and on his commute to work or to working out or whatnot, what he's listening to in the morning. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a time for the turn up, but at the same time, he knows for where he's going. It's all about changing that paradigm, changing his mind to where he's going. He's becoming who he wants to be. And that's the thing that we got to realize too, making sure that you're taking care of yourself. He's just not waking up in the morning and rushing straight to the office, but he hasn't worked out. He hasn't got his mind right. He hasn't done none of those things to work on himself. So how could he be an effective leader if he's not at first leading himself so he can prosper and so he can help prosper and pour into others? So that's the thing that you got to make sure that you understand about pouring into networking, because now not only do you have to pour into yourself, but you also got to set the tone and cast a vision to your team. But then at the same time, somebody got to go out there and make sure that you're present at the chamber meetings, that you're in the right organizations that are going to allow for you to have brand awareness, that you're doing shows like this and doing a mastermind like this on this day, where everybody else say, oh, no, man, hey, it's Saturday or whatnot, or it's Friday, it's Tuesday, oh, I need time off. So when you're asking about, wanting to enlarge your territory, are you really about that life?
That's right.
Are you about that life? Are you willing to catch that flight? Are you willing to have that tough conversation? Everybody want to be a boss, but everybody don't want to write a check. Are you able to write those checks? It's tax season.
That's right.
Are you about paying them taxes and doing those 1099s and all the W-2s and all that? Are you about that life too? If you don't know about that, paying people to help you know about that.
That's right.
So these are the things that when you see my man out here and he's petting tigers and he got the bottle and he's feeding tigers and all that right there. He's jumping on the elephant trunk and all that right there. He's like the most interesting man, like the Dos Equis commercial. When you see my man doing this, then you look at it, but you're not seeing the work that goes behind this.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. You don't see the investments that's being made to allow for him to be able to have this type of lifestyle. So if it's nothing wrong for you being where you are, if that's where you want to be. The issue comes when you're saying that you want this, but at the same time, you're not willing to sacrifice to be where you want to be. Me and Larry both are here with you today, and we're business owners.
Yeah.
A lot of the staff is off today.
Yeah. It's off.
It's empty. My office is empty today. It ain't nobody here today. But at the same time, we here because we know what we want. It's that legacy piece and whatnot. So I thank you, Brooks, for sharing that information. So, just give it to us, Mr. Brooks. Why are you so relentless after goals? Because so many people could say, wow, to be just a realtor.
Yeah.
And you end up being a broker, most people would have stopped right there.
Mm-hmm.
Being a broker, or if they was a top selling realtor, they would have stayed at that same brokerage forever and just got the commissions and went on about their business and whatnot. So then you scale it to being a broker. And then you're not saying, not even just being a broker, I want to help others achieve their dreams of having success as a realtor too, because you're helping so many people's lives and putting food on the table for so many by creating an organization or a platform where others are able to excel in that field too. And with the tax business and with the other things that you're doing. So what allows for you to still be motivated to continue to move forward when you've already had success? So it's one thing if you just down and out and you don't have anything, but it's another thing when you've had success where most fall off. How do you stay motivated?
Darren, it's amazing because what I noticed is this level to this thing, right? Because when I was not at the level that I'm at now, when I was just a realtor getting started, I wanted to become a broker. Then once I became a broker, I said, well, I want to be a broker that has over 50 agents. Once I got to a broker where I had over 50 agents, I thought to myself, I want to continue to scale. I want to not only be in this industry, but now I want to get into another industry to diversify. And so for me, it's levels to it. As I watch and I take away things from social media that other people might not, I see different people going out and doing great things. Like Richard Branson, as you said earlier, I'm jumping on tigers and riding elephants because of the things that I'm seeing this guy live his best life. And so he's doing it because he has that financial freedom and the ability to be able to do it. So levels, right? I'm not on that level yet, but I'm scaling up there as I get there. And again, this is not just about me, but it's about leaving a legacy, right? Me being able to leave my family in a better place than I was born into. And so me working hard right now and me sacrificing a little bit of sleep here and there. Now I do still get to find a way to get a lot of rest, but at the same time, I get up early. I put back into myself so I can put into others as well. But there's levels to it. And as you level and as you grow and you accomplish feats, we don't just, I'm not dying tomorrow, right? I'm just 42 years old. And so the thing is that I still have another 40 years worth of work if I want to. You know, the times have changed to the point to where there's no real quote of retiring at 60. I don't want to, my thing is this, I don't want to retire at 65 and go sit on an island. I want to get me a J5 jet and be able to fly to that private island for 2 days and then come back and go back to work if I want to. That's the kind of lifestyle I'm looking for. I'm not looking for retirement, kick my feet up on the beach already. I'm doing that now, right?
Yeah, there you go. And I love what you're sharing with that. So, you know, for those who don't understand that, it's about your goals. It's about what you wanting. And so you got to understand that it's levels to this. So see, when the vision is right, you don't have no problem being here on those Saturdays.
You ain't got no problem with it.
You felt like, oh man, it's overtime day. Oh man, you know, because that's the thing. It's according to what your goals are. Most people don't even have a goal.
Yeah.
So that's why they can't see the bigger picture of, hey, me learning this is not me actually working. This is me improving myself so I can be more of an asset. So I'm attracting the right people into my life. And so when I'm hearing you sharing that, that's the mindset you want to have. And you also want to have people around you who help you think bigger. So now I call those faith boosters. So what you brought up about Richard Branson or whatnot, that's the same thing. By me seeing him on his island, about me seeing him, like you said, seeing him with the tigers or whatnot, or out there with the elephants or whatnot, that inspired you. Like, man, I want to take a trip out there. So it's what you're exposed to that allow for you to go forward. And just like Joyce was sharing earlier about if she got someone who's leading in sales, it makes her want to give a call and say, hey, I'm not upset or mad, I'm competitive, but it makes me want to step my game up to the next level. It makes me want to grow when I got others around me going, because now it's possible now. It's one thing for me to come up with an excuse. Well, that's Oprah. I can use that as an excuse, well, that's Richard Branson, I can use that as an excuse. But then when I know somebody I know personally, is, feeding tigers, then it's saying like, okay, hey, it's time to step the game up. My boy out here feeding tigers, man. I need to be out there feeding tigers with my boy or doing something myself with doing tigers. So, or it might be with your health. Or it might be spending that time, just like you just shared earlier, your son had a game or whatnot. You was able to be at that game, that type of freedom. So for those who might be tuned into this is not to damage or talk down on someone. What this is about by having Larry on and talk about, cracking that code, the entrepreneur code, or whatever code, if you're working for someone, it's the code of freedom. This is what we're talking about. So, like I know, you don't want someone telling you like, man, you really want to be there for a family friend, a loved one, but you can't even attend a funeral service because you're scared that you're going to get, booted off your job. Or you can't afford to be sick any day because you don't know if you're going to be able to have a job to go to. So that's not the ideal life. So instead of being upset or mad, take what Mr. Brooks brought about. Don't find a way to hate. Don't find a way to take that message. He want to be on a plane and go to the island. And the first thing some of you would limit to thinking like, I don't need a plane. Well, you don't need a plane. You see, that's okay. Don't need a plane. That's fine for you. Okay, but don't knock the next person who want a plane. Yeah. So, if you want the life that you want, you don't want nobody saying something to you about it. He has every right to want what he wants. And so this is for those who want more in life, whether it's going further, whether it's being in better shape, if it's having that relationship that you want to have. This is what I bought Mr. Brooks on about, cracking that code or whatnot in your life. And so being around the right people, what would you say about that too, Mr. Brooks, of having, because everybody who started off with you aren't still with you.
That's right.
I mean, so you had to lose some to gain some. So let's talk about that journey where it's not so pretty. We don't hear about that. Some people who started off, they couldn't accept who you were becoming, which is the real you. They want to keep you with the old you.
You know, everyone's like, you're not going to find people that are going to always be like-minded, right? You're not going to find people that, and for me, my circle of friends are not all entrepreneurs. You know, my first circle of friends are in different lines of work, air traffic control or financial advisors, self-publishing. And so the thing is that all of my friends are diverse, but the ones that I've lost, it's either they didn't have a vision at all, right? They couldn't even see them growing outside of what they had going on. They wanted to be that person living check to check. And I understand that it's levels, like I said. So we all at some point in our life where we were trying to balance those checkbooks or trying to figure out how we was going to, you know, eat and pay the car note. Like I remember those days. But if I've given you something, I've shared a secret where, look, this is a strategy that I've used. Do this budgeting system. This is what helped me get there. But you're that friend that year after year you choose not to be that one, then we're going to slowly part. We're going to go our different ways, right? And so those things don't change. And so for me right now, the friendships, the people the like-minded people, I guess that's kind of why when I think about the people that I watch on Instagram and social media, you know, the people that I follow, the Will Smiths and all those people that have bigger visions on life, I think it's because of that, right? Because I know that if they were able to do it, and I seen where I came from, and I got people that I'm teaching and training, my agents and people on my teams that I'm teaching and training to get to the level that I'm at right now so they can one day replace me being in this chair and me continue to grow into other chairs and open up more doors for us as a staff, as a team, as friends. Then I got to continue to have my circle change. And the funny thing that you mentioned that, Darren, going into this year, one of the things that I know that I wanted to do was expand my circle of influence to just the neighboring people in Houston that I feel like are doing good things and big things. So I've taken it upon myself to hunt down phone numbers and call people and say, hey, I just want to go, let's do a 15-minute coffee. Let me stop in. I want to share some of the things about me and see what I can receive from you. Iron sharpens iron. And so if I want to get to a bigger playing field, I'm trying to reach out to the guys that are in those areas. Yeah. And when I say guys, I mean women as well. I'm just using that as